What this is a dialogue about the election process. And it's a dialogue about issues facing us. And so what this really is a dialogue of citizens, and it just so happens that some of our citizens are running for office. We did our first candidate cafe dialogue 2 years ago in 2010, and we had 17 candidates. Tonight, we have 38 candidates. So we're pretty excited about that. So let's give our candidates a hand. Think about it this way. What if it were possible to elevate our civil discourse in an election? In fact, and I will tell you, the reason why I came up with this idea 2 years ago for doing a candidates cafe dialogue was because I got to thinking about it and thought, wait a minute, when a candidate runs for office and begins talking about the issues, they have become a catalyst of a conversation. And it's a conversation that can make a difference. So what do we mean by dialogue? It's a conversation with a center and no sides. It's an opportunity to come together and talk to one another and share with one another our ideas, and we're talking to the center of the table about how do we make our democracy even better? How do we make our communities even better?
This is a wonderful opportunity for citizens to interact with the people who are vying for public office. And it is less political, it's more conversational, and really look at the issue. And for candidates like me, it's very important because we get to interact with the citizens to understand what are the real issues on their mind.
And it's getting harder to be able to find that common ground. That's why what we're doing here today, this evening, in this candidates forum, in this dialogue cafe, is so important to the future of who we are as Houstonians, as Texans, and as Americans.
I think we've got time for 3 rounds of conversation. The last round may need to be a little bit short, but here's what will happen at each one. You will make some quick introductions at the table. Who are you sitting with? And you're going to take turns talking about a question that I'm going to flash up on the screen. And these questions are very open, very broad. These are exactly the same questions we used 2 years ago. We had no complaints about our questions because they're really set up to elicit from you, the citizens in our community, what you believe are the big questions that we need to be talking about. Then what you'll do is take turns talking about each one of those questions, and then I'm going to call time. And then at that point, some people say this is sort of like speed dating. The candidate will sit at the table, and everyone else will get up and go find a new table to sit at. And then we'll go to question number 2. And then when we get to round 3, we'll do exactly the same thing. I'll call time. You'll jump up, you'll go to the next, to find another table. And the reason we do it this way is, think about it. You will have, because of the way we do this, conversational threads will begin to weave their way through the room, because you will be taking with you the conversation that you just had to the next table.
I'd like to learn what people are concerned about, and I like to see what my personal level of knowledge is, and see if I can answer the question.
I think I can clear that up. Some of those studies basically will measure bang for your buck. Like, the idea is it costs us X number of $1 million to get test results in the 70th percentile, and then we have to spend twice as much to get the next 5 percentile points, or something along those lines.
I'm getting tired of primaries. I think we ought to not have primaries, because I think in the primaries you get candidates that are too much on one side or the other, because they're not trying to win the general election, they're trying to win their primary.
You want a bus down your street, right? Because, you want people to be able to get to work, you want to be able to get to work in various things. As a county commissioner, I have to think about things like, private property rights, okay, if you want a bus, how do I deal with that? And how am I going to sustain that bus line, and is Metro going to cooperate with me?
What the epitome of it for me was, we had at one of my tables that we had a Democratic candidate, a Republican candidate, and a Green Party candidate. And we had this positive, warm conversation that did not involve positions, and it involved how do we get to the place that we need to get to create the environment to make the important decisions we need to make.
For me, what I gained from it was to be able to hear the different opinions and basically taking in and knowing that we're working toward one goal.
Being able to talk with people, even though we were all on different pages, different walks of life, we were able to come together and come up with key points that we all believe in are important for our region, like education.
And so you have been involved, I think, tonight in a true act in contribution of democracy. And my hat, if I had a hat on, I would take it off to you. Thank you. So stay tuned. We may be doing more of these. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.